Hi there, it's Michelle from CNC Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New Zealand, and I wanted to show you how to make a cute Christmas card. Now, this Christmas card uses a couple different sets. The paper, the background paper here, is from the Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper. Although here in New Zealand, probably other areas of the world, the poinsettia would be winter, which would be their Christmas, but here in New Zealand it's summer. So some of the flowers don't really gel with the seasons here in New Zealand, but for the other side of the world, you've got roses and sunflowers and tulips and poinsettias, etc. And then the images I cut out to give me the little cute flowers on the front, which I think looks like a bunch of poinsettias with some leaves coming out. That has come from the Arrange a Wreath die set, and the words from the inside, Merry Christmas, is from the Arrange a Wreath stamp set. So this set is fabulous because this can be used all year long. There's a couple different dies for different types of wreaths, and you have like for thank you cards or Thanksgiving, Easter, could be best wishes for birthdays or getting well or weddings, etc. A Merry Christmas one, and have a heart day, Happy Heart Day, which would be obviously Valentine's. We have our partridge, which could be in a pear tree. We have our Easter eggs, our hearts for Valentine's Day. Leaves here that could be for autumn, or depending on the color, could be summer. Some more leaves there. Flowers that could be any time of the year. The dies are quite nice because the dies in the set, which I like to keep in my stamp set here. So there's two different wreath dies, and if you've seen some of my other videos, I've done some using the wreaths. So this one is more, I think, for the spring-summer time with the floral, and this could be for the autumn or Christmas times with the more of the holly kind of branches. Lots of different flower dies, different leaf dies. Some of these match the stamped images on the front, which you'll recognize. And then there's some extra ones. So Love for Valentine's. And this is the flower die that I used for this set. I've already pre-cut 3 in real red and 3 in the red glimmer paper. And then I use this teeny tiny circle here. I used that to cut 3 little circles in the Bumblebee cardstock, which is our new in-color cardstock for the center of my flowers. And these other images could cut out centers of flowers if you want. So this one could be stamped as the center of a flower and then cut out to put on top. So I've pre-cut some of those already. The leaves for this, I didn't like the leaves that were in that set. Didn't really blend because I was trying to make it look like the background paper. So the leaves for this are from the Boho Indigo Medley, which there's a stamp set there, but it also comes with a selection of dies. So the dies for that set have a few different leaf dies, and I've just realized I haven't put the leaf die away. So there's vases and different leaf dies. One is the fern leaf die that I've actually used for this set, and then some of those images cut out the flowers in that set. So I just used the leaf from the Boho Indigo dies. And then I'm going to change it up slightly because the die and the stamp that I used for the sentiment on the top was from last year's holiday catalog, and it has not carried over. So I'm going to change that up for the card that I'm going to show you how to make now. Okay, so let's get started. So you need your base. So whatever country you're in, the base cardstock. In this country, it's A6, which is half an A5. Folded in half, so it's 210 scored at 10 and a half, 21 centimeters, score at 10 and a half centimeters, and cut to 148.8 centimeters to make the base of the card. So I'm using Cinnamon Cider, which is one of our new in colors. Then I've got a white piece of cardstock that's just half a centimeter smaller all around the edges. to fit on the inside. And then the same with my designer series paper. So that ended up being 10 centimeters by 14.3 centimeters. And this is 6 by 6 paper. So when you cut that off, you get a nice strip there, and then you have this little bit at the very end. Probably the other end, actually. There we go. And so instead of wasting it, when I cut that off, I'm going to use that on the inside. I like to just embellish the inside with any leftover designer series paper. Or I throw it into a bin with other paper, and I use it when I do some paper piecing. So that is the designer series paper there. Then another piece of white cardstock to stamp your image on for your sentiment. I've already now pre-cut the red glimmer paper. I'm using the Stitch So Sweetly dies for this card here because that is current. Those dies have some nesting rectangular dies as well as 4 other dies that nest that are different shapes. So I'm giving this a try today. And so I've done the red with the largest different shaped die from that set. So I've already cut the red, and then I'm going to stamp the words and cut it with the smaller shape to nest it in there. And as I said, I've already cut 3 of the red flowers, which look like little poinsettias to me, in real red, and 3 in the red glimmer paper. I've already cut, fortunately, 4 of the fern dies. I need to find my die. I'm not sure where it went. I had a class the other day and it's disappeared. And 3 of the little yellow circles. And then I'm also using the real red ruched ribbon, which is in the current holiday catalog. So let's get going on this card. So I'll do the stamping. For the inside of the card, I simply stamped the Merry Christmas in Bumblebee because it'll pick up the yellow bumblebee from the inside of the flowers on the designer series paper. And if you're wanting to know what colors are in your papers, on the packaging and in the catalog and even on the website, when you get your paper, it will tell you the names of the different colors in there, so you can color coordinate with your paper and your inks when you're using it. Not every piece will have all the colors mentioned, so like here with those roses, that's Bumblebee, but there's obviously no Just Jade or Magenta Madness on that piece, where this one has got Bumblebee and Just Jade. So each piece will have some of the colors and maybe all of the colors that are mentioned in the packaging. So for the inside, I'm just simply going to put Merry Christmas, which is from the Arrange a Wreath stamp set in Bumblebee. Just straight down, nice pressure, straight up, fairly straight. And then I always put my inks away because something falls on it if you don't put your inks away straight away. And then in the Cinnamon Cider, I really love this color, I am going to stamp this scrap piece of Whisper White. So you just need the scrap piece to be big enough to fit whatever shape you're going to do your sentiment on. So if you're wondering, this just happens to be about 7 by 7.5. And so this sentiment is from the Poinsettia Petals set. So that's where I got this sentiment. And here it doesn't matter if I do it crooked because I haven't cut it yet. So the die, I will line it up to cut it nicely. Nice pressure. There we go. Okay, so it looks a bit dark, but as it dries, it will lighten up a bit. So that's the sentiment. I'm hoping I didn't put it too far over. No, that will fit fine. Okay, I haven't tried the sentiment with this die, so I'm hoping that'll fit fine. So I'm going to go die cut that, and that will layer on the front. and then I will come finish up the card. Okay, so that fit perfectly. See, it makes a nice stitch. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there and see how you got the nice little outline there. When you're sticking things down onto a glimmer or a rough surface, you really need to use double-sided tape because glue will not stick in there. So I'm just going to put some tape on here. So just a bit of tape to hold it in place. Just layer that up. Now normally, if you've seen my other videos, I cut something out from the background so you don't waste that. But I've already cut the flowers and they're too big to get very many out from that background. So there we go. Now before you put your designer series paper down, you need to do your ribbon. So if it's directional, you need to make sure you've got the right way up. So this does look like it goes that way. And on the back, you just want to use a couple pieces of tape because ribbon doesn't stick very well with glue. So you decide where you want your images to be and then just put a bit of tape on the back of it. Peel that up. And then you put your ribbon where you want it to be. Now I usually just measure slightly longer than the piece I want to use. So about there. And I like to cut it right off the roll because then that doesn't waste it that much. And then just set that where you want it to be. Hopefully you can see. So I've got my tape there, set it in place, and just fold over the ribbon. Now the reason you don't use liquid glue with ribbon is quite often it doesn't stick and it might discolor the ribbon. So you could get some darker spots depending on the ribbon that you're using. Okay, and so now for the inside, this little extra strip, you can do whatever you want. You could stick it straight down at the bottom, part way up. I'm thinking I might have it go slightly up. Now that glue is the easiest way to put it down because then I have a bit of wiggle room. And if I had more images there, I'd know a right from a wrong way up on this, but you can't really tell from this which way it's going. So I'm thinking it might be... Nope. I'm not sure which way it goes, so I'm just going to pop it down that way. Now, you can put it right down at the bottom. I want it to just leave a little white there. And just, because it's liquid glue, I can wiggle it into place. And if it's too long, you can turn it over and snip off the extra bit. And that looks like it's just perfect. So we'll stick that on the inside. Usually I use tape to do the inside, but for video purposes, it's faster just to do glue. And there we go. Bone folder just to smooth out the glue. There we go. And then on the top, we can stick this down. Now, I could use tape if I want, or I can use glue. It won't matter now about having glue on the ribbon because you're not going to see that side of the ribbon. It's just if you've got the ribbon, the part that's you're going to look at, you don't want to use glue to stick it down because it can discolor it. Also, this part is held in place much easier with tape. So just pop that on there. Try to have a nice even amount of cinnamon cider showing through. Okay. So, because there's this extra space there, I want to add a bit of bling to it. So I'm using the Wonderful Gems. My other card, I used, I think those were the champagne gems, which might still be available. So with this one, I'm going to probably put some of the bigger ones on. And these are really nice because they have a bit of shimmer coming through the inside of them. So it's like a bit of sparkly glitter was stuck inside them when they were created. I should be using my pick a tool, but I'm not sure where that is at the moment. There we go. So if you have a close look, maybe you can see. So these are like clear, but they have like little gold speckles inside, and the red ones as well, but you can't see it as strongly in the red gems. So that's real red, and that's, I think it's just clear, the other one. So here, it's just going to add a little bit of shine. It's kind of hard to tell because the lighting's getting dark here. So before I stick that down, I want to decorate the bottom. And I want to do that, yeah, I'll just turn the light on because it was getting dark. I just want to add the yellow centers to them. So the easiest way to do that is just to put a bit of glue on the center of the flower. Don't have to go too crazy because those circles are rather small. But if I put the glue on the circle, it would just ooze out all these holes. But as you can see there, the circle just fits. So I don't want the glue oozing out the center, that's why I put it onto the back of the flower. So I'll do these other ones quickly, just a little bit. Just enough to hold it in place, because it'll be sitting on top of other things anyway. And just set that little yellow right there in the center. And when you're gluing things down, using the blocks are quite good because you can just give it that extra press and hold it in place while you're doing the next one. There we go. Throw those little bits, just turn it over, make sure the yellow's all in the right spot. Okay. Now these have the little holes there, but I didn't bother to poke them out, and I'm not going to take the time to do that. Some of them have come out because you're not going to see them. So what I found easiest is to layer up your flowers. And the best way to layer the flowers is with a glue dot. Just stick a glue dot in the center of your shiny one, because like I said, the tape and glue doesn't necessarily stick to these. So I'm just going to stick a glue dot right on the center of each of these. So there's a glue dot in the center there, and another glue dot in the center there. Just press it down close to the center. And so then I'm just layering these flowers, just arranging them in a layer so you can just see the petals, the shiny petals underneath. Okay, so that's the easiest way to do it. Just pop a glue dot there and stick it down. If you were to put liquid glue, it's probably not going to stick very well. Tape would work, but if you put liquid glue, I suggest you put it under a block like that, and so it will help to hold it in place. But because of the glitter paper, it doesn't stick very well to liquid glue, but it sticks quite nicely to glue dot. And then I just want to arrange this on the ribbon. So I want to give a bit of height, And again, it's not going to stick on the ribbon very well with liquid glue, so I could do the glue dots, or I could do a dimensional. But I also want to get my leaves arranged as well. So I was trying to sort of mimic the look behind there with leaves coming out of different sides and things. So what I think I will do is I will put some tape on there. And it's coming up a little bit there, which is okay, but I want it to stay, not to have too much weight pulling it off. So I'm going to take some tape, and I'm going to slip some tape under there. I could have done this when I first put it down. And that will hold my ribbon in place. So that will hold my ribbon down. And see how that looks weird? You can see that the ruched part is now not ruched. It's kind of flat. But that's okay because I'm going to cover that up. But that's also the reason you don't use glue on your tape, or tape it from the front, because you get that weird flatness. But that's fine because I'm actually going to decorate the front with a few things. So now I will do a bigger piece of tape to put over the front there. And this is just to hold my embellished pieces in place. So another piece of tape. Oh, the tape has come off on my finger. Oh. Okay, so that's going to be there to help hold my my branches in place. Okay, so I'm just wanting to kind of have them hanging off the side. So the ends don't matter on these. So some of them, the ends, I didn't cut the whole end off. It's just cut slightly away, which is fine, because you don't see that part. I just want to give it a bit more emphasis down the bottom. You can put as many leaves and branches as you want. So as I said, I don't need that stem there, so I can just rip that piece off. Okay, so now I want these guys to stick down. Now that I have the leaves there, I can use that to adhere to with the liquid glue. So I'm going to want to have those two on either side. So I'll just put a little bit of glue right where I know I'm going to place my flower. And then just stick my flower right onto those leaves. Trying to make sure I'm not too far over. And so the leaves, the paper on the leaves is going to help hold it in place. And then a bit of glue here, as well as some of that adhesive sticking there will help it as well. Put that one there. And then the middle one, I want to give it some depth, so I will add a dimensional on the bottom of it. And that one covers up. So see how messy that is there? It looks really, really bad and all flat and sticky, but this will cover that right up with the dimensional. Ta-da! Don't see that. Okay. So now I'm going to pop this one up. So I did that first to decide how high I want it to put my background. So we'll just pop a couple dimensionals on there. And half one on either side. And a half one in the middle. That way I don't use up as many as if I put a whole bunch of solid ones there. Just cut them in half to make them last longer. And there we go. And so here we'll just pop that up right. I think that looks pretty good. It also depends on what you got in the background. You know, if you've got flowers that you want to emphasize or any blemishes you want to cover up. There you go. So, that's the card done. So it's got the lovely little glimmery bits of the flower coming through. I could have probably put that one over a bit more so you could see the center of it. And then the inside with our extra little designer series paper that's left over. So basically that's the same card, but this one has more glimmer shining at the top because of the way it's been layered. This set here was from the holiday card Frosted Festivities or something like that from last year, so that's why. And this one, I believe that's the Poppy Parade. That's why that red looks slightly different. But it turns out the color that goes with the designer series paper is real red, and that's why this one's slightly darker. So there you go. 2 Christmas cards done. So if you enjoyed that, please give me a thumbs up. You can have a look at my blog for more ideas and card ideas and other projects. And if you're in New Zealand and don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator already and would like to buy products, please go to my website, michellekritchley.stampinup.net, to order or to see more ideas. Designer Series paper will be on sale starting October 1st, so if you're wanting to get some of the paper at a discount, have a look. Not all the paper will be on sale, just some of them. Have a look there to find what you like. And I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe to see more videos in the near future. And I will be doing more and more Christmas projects and cards in the near future. If there's anything you'd like to see, please give me a comment to let me know what you'd like me to show you how to make. So that was using the Arrange a Wreath products. And this one has the words from the Poinsettia Petals stamp set. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.